everyone, Zero Jetty here with the XPlay Fans Channel. I'm here to give you a quick taste of Fox and Force. I think I'm about almost 3/4 of the way through. It is a kind of a platformer, almost Ghosts and Goblins kind of thing. Right now I'm actually in the hub area where you can buy upgrades and stuff. Here you can buy potions. This one is for health and mana upgrades, and this one's for weapon upgrades. So the main story is mostly like, hey, this giant tree needs get the magic bark back for him from these bosses. Hey, go and kill these bosses. The usual progression is 2 normal stages and then a boss battle, and then after that there's a secret stage. If you can look at my menu at the upper left, you see my hearts. Next to that is my weapon. I'll go start a level. My main weapon is a crossbow with a bayonet on it, which is straight up pretty badass. So I'm actually going to do the first levels for you because the levels actually get fairly lengthy to a point that some of them are unpleasant to play just because of how long they are. And one of them was actually a side-scrolling shooter level that I honestly did not like at all. But anyways, your main attack is you're shooting. When you crouch, you hit with the bayonet. When you jump, you can have a bayonet. I've unlocked a ground pound. I've also unlocked 2 different types of 2 extra arrow types. Which kind of match the seasons I've gone through, spring, fall. The next one is a snowy area, which I'm sure will give me a ice arrow. So these are the levels are essentially you're going left to right. Sometimes you kind of backtrack over yourself. And the main big mechanic about this game is if you push either the left trigger or right trigger, you change the season. So changing the season there from spring to winter allowed me to walk in that frozen ice. So you're mostly going around collecting these coins and everything. The money transfers over and you can buy stuff at that other area. Those crystals are for my mana. Switching the season requires you to plant your feet. You can't do it in the air. And as you can see, it's actually draining my mana up there. Using the bows also changes it. If you run out of mana, the season will change back. You can change season while you're jumping. You cannot initiate the first change while you're jumping, which I thought would be pretty cool. Another little fun thing is there's kind of a mild Metrovania thing going on where like you'll see these targets and they can be activated with a certain type of arrow. The color corresponds with what they are. Up here was a seed, which is actually required for progression. Once you beat an area's boss, you actually need a certain amount of seeds to unlock the next season. So this is the natural progression of the game. You're just going through these levels. The first time I did this in particular level, it felt like it took like almost 30 minutes to do. All right, here's another one. So it's spring here. The bees are out. Bees are terrible. But if it's winter, they're asleep. So I can sneak on past them. Also, we're gonna ignore that frog because he's a jerk. This is Save Badger. He's essentially giving you a checkpoint if you buy it, and the reason you're buying it is because he collects retro games, and he has to feed his addiction to collecting retro games. But get a double jump. If you hit off bounce, almost won the water. Water is instant death. So since I have these fire arrows, I can kind of rip through these guys. So some of the areas, it combines of like, hey, I can walk in this water now, but this cave is sealed. So what I need to do is jump, unfreeze it, and go through. So you can see that eel. He can't go back into his water, and off we go again. You can actually leave this on fairly long and get pretty far into this. The levels have 3 kinds of collectible, a sharpening stone, which is for your attacks, usually is what you use, a combination of money and the stones to upgrade your thing. Mana stones, which is upgrade your mana, and then the seeds is what you essentially use for progression. And my only fear is that I'll get past like the next boss and have to grind out a whole bunch of them. You can't go and just collect them and then quit the level. You actually have to finish the level. The save badger, as you saw earlier, the farther you get into the game or the level, the more he costs. Right now, where I am in the game, it's essentially costing like I ended up probably spending over 800 gold in one level. just to continue, which was infuriating with how sometimes the game is so densely packed with like pitfalls and things that literally, it's literally designed to murder you. The most recent level I did was a giant tower that literally felt that the level was like 40 minutes of just going straight up. Like, it had some interesting ideas. Like, there were platforms that were going up and down, and you could stop them, and like swinging axes that you could stop when you switch the seasons. But it just drove on and on. Other than that, I like the music's pretty great. I really like that. Like, hey, look at this beanstalk. Oh, now the leaves are gone. It'd be cool if like the little creatures also changed when you did that. The autumn level actually, when you progress it, it actually turns these little chirpy birds into these jerk ravens that will drop stuff on you. Another small issue I had is like some of the areas you have to wait for stuff to like come back or wait for your mana to recharge, and these little flying guys and some of the NPCs just respawn. And they come back probably 4 to 5 seconds, which seems like a small amount of time to complain about. But when you're just standing there waiting for something to come back, it's 4 or 5 seconds can go by pretty fast. So we haven't seen very many of them, but like those targets not only unlock areas that are usually like have a chest and one of the collectibles in it, they often will give you a shortcut to quickly get through the level to bypass a whole bunch of stuff. The thing is that most of the time, dudes drop money. Also, you can just drop them in the water, which I think is hilarious. And then at the end of every level, your little, I'm not going to call her companion because I think she hates you. At the beginning of it, you were plotting to eat her. Patty is on a seesaw. Hold on, I go, boop, see. So now, instead of going all the way to the right, I can now just bypass this all the way. Instead of, I would have had to zigzag all the way left and right to get past there. Those fire things essentially let me just skip all that, skip a save badger. And it was a lot easier. So, that's a level. There she is. Here she ready? There she is. So I can go like this and go. And that's how you'll end every level, which I think is pretty good. Just launch her into space. So I'm going to go back to this other area, and then I'm going to actually show you the thing, the other level. So these are actually how you unlock the different, what's it called, seasons. So this is the first one I unlocked by fighting a giant frog. I've unlocked this one by fighting a giant bee. So let's go. All right, sorry, I wanted health. So now I have that many hearts. It is funny that like Patty the bird is literally the shopkeeper for everything. So I'm going to show you this other side-scrolling shooter level that was one of the unique things. So everything's on fire. So when you're actually changing the seasons here, you're actually making it rain to put out like torrents of fire, which is incredibly upsetting. Look how angry those clouds are. But like, look at what's behind me. That's terrifying. And of course, when you're in this mode, like the cloud, like what's it called? Bushes are all nice. Safety badgers there to help you out. Oh, and one hit is one hit death. And there were a few sections of this area that just didn't, like, made me want to go insane. And of course, you can always change your arrow types, but I don't really know why you would want to. One of the upgrades I do have, as you can see on the bottom right here, is my attack damage, and I think you can do that 3 times. Left side is the different attacks I have, and then you got your collectibles here. But there's like 40 of these little nuts, and I'm worried that at some point I'll have to go and collect all of them. So this is the one I was talking about where you just going going up and up and up. The bosses actually are pretty good. The first one, the frog, I had to actually freeze the water to stand out of his range and shoot him in the mouth. And then he shot these things in the air. I'm gonna guess they were eggs or poison, and they came down. And after they came down, I had to freeze them and hit them back at him, which was a great idea. It reminded me of, like, the design almost reminded me of a Donkey Kong boss, like the OG Donkey Kong. But like I said, it's the same formula of level, boss, and then bonus level, where you can't really do it until you've finished the, like, gotten all the seeds and everything. But like this level in particular, and then this other one, just felt like it just dragged forever, and it's like, everything has started to take a lot of hits, and I really don't want to have to go back to these levels to find, like, hey, I need to find the 2 more seeds here, or I need to go and find like the 1 mana crystal and 2 seeds here, just so I can upgrade my attack and everything, and then somewhere else go and upgrade, like, farm cash and stuff like that. But I like how it looks, and it's like got some good music. So if this is the kind of your like oh, you like hard games or something like that, this might be for you. But I really like this tree with like his like bows of the clown hair. Also, you can't fire your weapons in here, but I can go. But I am ZeroJD. This was Fox and Force, F-O-X, and then the letter N, Forests. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm ZeroJD. This was the XBLA Fans channel. Check out our other videos and have a nice day.